Hello everybody, it is Linda with Scrap Stars Paper Crafting, and I'm here today to show you another fun fold card. This is called a trifold, but it's an angled trifold, and you can see that there's angles on it. I made a little belly band for this particular card, but you really wouldn't have to. You could also just put a sentiment here and then flip it like that. But I'm going to show you, and you can do it either way. You can flip your paper this way, or you can flip your paper that way. It's just a really cute card. Okay, so I just used some scrap papers that I had on hand that were left over, and I just need to use my stash up. So cards are a great way to use your stash. The other thing that I'm doing that I used the sentiment from the Simply Zinnias, and that is the thank you so much. And I also used the leaf for the inside. I used this leaf for the inside. I could have also used this leaf here if I wanted to on the inside of the card from the Simply Zinnias. But the textured floral, what I used is not necessarily so much the stamp set, but the die cut. It comes with all these really intricate cute little vines that you can die cut, and this one is actually bigger, but I cut a little piece off to put here. And I like all the little die cuts that come with this the textured floral stamp set, because I can use them for flourishes on scrapbook pages, on cards, you know, just whatever, even packages that I'm wrapping. Just put a little fun thing on there. I think that's just adds a little something cute. Okay, so let's get started with making our card. You're going to need, I'm using a gray piece of paper. Whoops, I got glue on that piece, I think a little bit. This is your base. This is what you're going to be making your card with. And this is 5.5. So I'm going to cut your 8 and 11, let's see, 8.5 by 11. You're going to cut it at 5.5 by 11. So you're going to have a smaller strip. You're not going to be able to make two cards out of one paper, but you're also going to need a belly band that is 1 inch by 11. So I just cut this at 5.5. Let's bring this up here so you can see the measurements. 5.5 by 11, and then a 1 inch by 11 for the belly band. Now the next thing I'm going to need for my paper, I'm going to just move these over here a little bit because they keep sticking. I also got a couple circle dies that complement each other in size, so that I can just put them, nest them in nicely with a nice border around it. And then the inside piece is 4 across by 5.25. So then the decorative piece that I'm using is just a scrap that I had left over from some other projects that I had been doing. And of course we want to use up our stash. And it's an older, just an older piece of paper that I had. So I'm going to cut this at 3 1/8. So if you're wondering about eighths, let me pull this up really close. I used to think eighths were kind of a pain, but actually, if you look at your measuring tool, each little, it's kind of a little longer, but if you go to the quarter, half of the quarter is an eighth. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4/8 is a 1/2 inch. So it just for me, it made more sense just to think of it as a 1/2 inch, and then you have 4/8 in the 1/2 inch. So I just would split it in half by that next little line that was up here. All right, so we're going to cut our decorative piece of paper at 3 1/8 by 5.25. 3 1/8 by 5.25. So I'm going to go up to that, like there's little lines there. I'm going to go count 1, 2. So we'll go up to the second line. So I'm right in between the 3 and 3.25. Okay, and we'll just go ahead and cut that piece. And then I'm going to cut another piece at 3 1/4 or 3 1/8. So again, I'm going up to the 3 inches, and I go 1, 2 on the lines, and that's my 1/8. So I'm right in the middle between 3 inches and 3 1/4. All right. So I'm going to discard that extra piece and use that for another card. Now for this, we need it at 5 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and just put these together and go up here to 5 1/4 and cut this. Oop, yes, got the right thing. I was like, am I scoring or am I cutting? Okay, so now I have my 2 decorative pieces, and we'll kind of come back to that and cut those in a minute. First, we're going to score this, our card base. And I'm going to go ahead and sit down while I do this just so that I'm a little more comfortable. And so I am going to score this at 3 3/8. So it's like 1/4 of an inch wider. And this is going to be like your panel, the first panel. So 3 3/8. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. So now I'm between 3 1/2 and 3 1/4. It's that little line right in between 3 1/4 and 3 1/2. And I'm going to use my scoring tool, and I'm going to score it on like here. And then I'm going to turn my paper around and score it again at 3 3/8. So we're going to go up here and score it again at 3 3/8. Now, I like to change things when it's like at eighths and stuff like that. So there is some reasoning to why they do the eighth thing. Is because you want this to be your card base. So the back part would be a standard card side base. And I'll show you that in a second here. We're going to go ahead and fold this over. And then fold this over. And I should use my bone folder. There we go. Just to make those edges nice and sharp. Okay, the reason why is because this is a standard card base. And so when you, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that will fit in a standard envelope. All right, so now we're going to do the cutting part, and this is really the easiest part to do. You're going to need a little pencil, and we're going to take this, and we're going to lay this back out flat again, and we're going to take this at 1 inch here, and I'm going to just use my cutting and scoring tool here, and I'm going to go use it right here on the line. I'm just going to put a little pencil mark there that I can see at 1 inch. Then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to go 1 inch again this way, and I'm going to just take my pencil again and make a little mark. Okay, so now I'm going to do the first one, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this where I cut, where I have this pencil mark. I'm going to bring it up from the pencil mark to the embossed area right here, so where my score line is. And I'm going to take my little tool, and I'm going to go ahead and look here. I've got it like my pencil mark here, and then the corner of where that score line is, I'm going to put it there, and I'm just going to cut. Oop, I'm scoring instead of cutting. Okay, scoring instead of cutting is much better than cutting instead of scoring. Okay, so now I got the first part. Now I'm going to take this inch here that I marked with my pencil and line it up with the corner of this, and I'm going to cut it again. And that is how you make your cards. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we're going to bring this to 1 inch here. And I'm going to just mark it with my little line thing that I have right here. I hope you can see that in the camera. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this and I'm going to mark 1 inch right here. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take this pencil mark that's at 1 inch and I'm going to line up with the where I scored it here, the score mark here with the 1 inch. And I'm going to just cut it. And then again, to do the side, I'm going to take it from this peak right here to this 1 inch and line it up on my cutter. Here, let's see. Yep. And so I have my pencil mark here and then the tip of that. And I'm going to cut this there. And now I have the base of my card all ready to go. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Now you can make these deeper by making your score lines. Instead of at 1 inch, you could go 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 of an inch, which would just make this a deeper angle. But I like the 1 by 1 just because it's super simple and easy to remember. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with our 2 papers. Now I have pattern paper and I wanted it one side to be, if you have double-sided paper, you can do one side one way and one side the other way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them both together like this, both facing the same way. And if I cut them, I'll have one going the other way and one going this way and one going this way. But I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. 1 inch and make a little score line. And I'm going to cut these together. And then I'm going to take this and we're going to go 1 inch. Whoa! Caught my pencil. And we're going to do another little mark here so that I know where to go. And so let's see where my marks are. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put my mark here and I'm going to take it to this corner here and I'm going to just simply cut. I need to bring my mark over a little bit more and I want to make sure these are stacked together nicely. Okay, so got it from the corner here to the pencil line right there. Line those up. And now I'm going to just simply cut. And then the same thing the other way. I've got, where is my pencil mark? Trying to find it here. It's at 1 inch. There it is. So 1 inch here, my pencil mark. And I'm going to go right to this corner right here. So you got this corner peak and my pencil mark. And I'm going to line it up ever so carefully. There we go. Kind of holds it in place when I put that down. So I'm going to go ahead and readjust that and now put it down. And so now I have 2 panels that are going to be the right size. So let's pull this out of the way because I think we're all done with the cutting and the scoring. So here is this panel. It's going to fit in there perfectly. We'll go ahead and glue that in. I guess I'll use my little glue because I can't find my tape runner, but actually I guess with cards you're supposed to use your glue. So I'm going to use my little green glue and I'm going to go ahead and put this on here on this side. And just put that, center it so that it has a margin that goes all the way around. And then I'm going to do the same with this side. I'm going to take my glue and this time I'm going to put the glue on the pattern, well, the flowery side. I'm just gonna squeeze my glue a little bit here. Get it going. Let's see, I got a big glob right there, so let's try to brush that off a little bit. Okay, and I'll just use my finger here, bring that up. And then we're gonna just line this up again on these angles so that you have a nice little border going all around. Okay, so that is that. Then I'm gonna take my center for my sentiment, and this is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'll just put a little bit of glue in here. And you can stamp a flower on it, you can stamp a leaf on it, and the sentiment if you want to decorate it up a little bit. And we're gonna just go ahead and center that in there so you can write your message. And then I'm going to take this one circle and the other circle, and I'm going to go ahead and just put some glue on the back of this circle. And you can stamp it first if you want. Probably a good idea, because if you stamp it, you have 2 sides to stamp on if you make a mistake. And I'm going to just take my thank you thank you so very much. I love that. Thank you so much. Such a pretty saying. And I'm going to stick that right in the center here. Stamp it down. So pretty. And then I'm going to take some of my little bit of flourish here. And I just cut this out of, actually I just cut this out of this little scrap of this paper. You can see this is the back side and this is the front side. You could cut it out of cardstock. I just had a little piece of this left, so I used that to cut it out with. And I'm going to, let's see, I think I'll just cut off a little teeny tiny piece of that again, just to add a little bit of flourish to it. So I'm going to go ahead and snip right here and snip right here. Let's see if I can get my scissors in there nicely. Okay, I got a little snip. And I'm going to snip this off too. And then I'm going to smooth out just this little edge here of the leaf where I didn't snip really good. There we go. And so then I have another little flourish for my next card that I'm going to do right here. I could either use either one of these. And so I just put a little bit of glue on the back of my flourish with my sticky fingers. Okay, just a tiny little bit on here. And a little bit on the stem. Okay, and then I'm going to take my sticky fingers and I'm just going to kind of line this up like that. And there is my pretty little flourish on there. And then for the belly band, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my extra flourishes out. So you can see just one die cut of this pretty flourish is going to make like 3, maybe even 4 cards. So it's just really pretty. Okay, so now with my belly band, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just wrap it around. I could score it, but I want to just wrap it around so that it's kind of more loose, so it's easy to slide in and out. And if you've seen me do belly bands before, you've seen that I just kind of like it a little bit loose. And then I'm just going to snip off the edge there, and we'll put a little glue right here on the edge of this. Get my glue to come out now. There we go. Either I get it to come out really fast or it doesn't come out at all. Okay, so then I'm going to just go ahead and wrap that around and glue that. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right here in the center of this where the band connects, and put my sentiment right in the middle of that. Press that down, and there you go. There is the card. I hope you found that this was pretty easy to do. Just the biggest thing is just 1 inch and lining them up. Oops, that's a little off, so my glue is forgiving. So I'm gonna go ahead and just move it so I can center that a little better. There we go, love that. Okay, so there's the card. Here's the other one. And they're just, so you can flip-flop them either way with the pattern or the other. So I hope you found this helpful, and I hope to see you next Friday for another fun fold. Bye.